So what Summon Platform was designed for was, well, sometimes you want to have a little bit of sacrifice of this decentralization. I know that some people are going to get nervous when I say that, in order to allow for convenience while still making sure that you are secure enough that your assets are not compromised.
You and Riley and a bunch of others got together and you built something on Cardano called the Summon Platform. And the Summon Platform is pretty interesting. And I think a lot of people need to take more advantage of what you guys have built, right? This tooling that's out there, and being able to bring that into projects that they're building and bringing the community decision to the community, right? So can you talk a little bit about Summon Platform and what you guys have built and how people can take advantage of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So the Summon Platform is a project that emerged out of ADAO. And it started because we knew that Liquid Labs and M Labs was working on the Agora DAO scripts. The Agora DAO scripts were, meant to mimic Governor Bravo. That is like the Ethereum style DAO scripting, but I mean it's meant to mimic the way it works in terms of allowing governance, but it is completely rewritten so that it works for Cardano, of course, because the dreams of having an automatic port from Solidity over to Plutus is not happening, at least anytime soon. When we saw them working on that, we said, hey, this is something that we could build around. And ADAO had also already designed the Roundtable app, and we also thought like, well, we can also offer a more robust multi-sig option because Roundtable is meant to be extremely decentralized. We've been asked before, like, how many people use Roundtable? The answer is we don't know. We intentionally don't know because we don't want to keep track of who's using it. Roundtable is set up so that when people access that website, they can have a peer-to-peer multi-sig experience and run their multi-sig treasuries without any interference from us. The volunteers who keep that running for ADAO do not keep track of any of the transactions. They don't keep track of the access. They don't even keep the signatures when somebody wants to do a signature. So what Summon Platform was designed for was, well, sometimes you want to have a little bit of sacrifice of this decentralization. I know that some people are going to get nervous when I say that, in order to allow for convenience while still making sure that you are secure enough that your assets are not compromised. So with Summon, we started with the idea of having communities where communities can come in, they can establish a presence on Summon, and then you can have your multi-sigs for your communities so that you can establish a multi-sig treasury where you can have, for instance, an account derived from, let's say, 5 different people using their public keys to create a new account for a treasury, and then 3 out of 5 members of a community have to sign a signature, have to sign a transaction before that transaction is valid to go out on the network. So if you have a treasury of 10,000 ADA, you can only transfer out ADA from that treasury if 3 out of 5 people sign the transaction.
And as somebody who had a project called Cardano over coffee with a treasury, thank you for Roundtable, because we took advantage of it as a multi-sig, me and Epoch, and there was a couple others. We had multiple signers for anything that needed to take place if something needed to be paid. So it was very helpful because I didn't have to trust myself with not spending the money or on something, going to buy myself some candy because I'm hungry, right?
Yeah.
So that tooling was very helpful in the beginning.
Yeah. And you probably have had experience with Roundtable of having to, once you sign it with your own key, having to copy your signature and send it to the next person.
Yes.
With Summon, we actually save that signature in our database for you. So we don't have a copy of your key, but we do have a copy of the signature, so that when the next 2 people come to sign, we can help you combine them, and then you can submit the transaction. So that's the first advantage a community has on Summon. The second advantage is they can do snapshot style voting, and that's something that within Ethereum are separate applications. So you might be using a multi-sig treasury on one application and then using a snapshot vote on another application. With Summon, we decided, hey, we should combine these for the Cardano community. So you can have perhaps a snapshot style vote of how should we spend the treasury. And then once the community has voted, so you could have everybody who holds some of your Cardano over coffee coin, perhaps if you have a token for that, votes on a issue, and then you go and spend tokens or whatever project wants to do this. Then the trustees in charge of the treasury make the spend. They can do that. So that's the second thing we have is snapshot style voting. But then the third option is once the Agora scripts were finally complete, we were able to add that third component of an interface to an interface for the Agora scripts. Because what Liquid Labs and M Labs wrote was just the primitives on chain for these scripts, and so that you could work with these scripts. They didn't write the everybody who wanted to work with these scripts had to make their own custom interface. So Liquid has their custom interface. Other big projects have their custom interface. But if you're just a small project starting out, you can come to Summon Platform and you can use Summon Platform for our interface that we make available to the community.